Hi everybody. I'm about to do a live, my first solo live ever, believe it or not. But I wanted to hop on here a few minutes early to give people time to trickle in because I'm going to be talking about some very important stuff. My top 3 tips for optimizing your LinkedIn and also census. Hi inclusive data, welcome. So we're going to get started at, a little after 3, give people a chance to join, but just hang out, get some water if you want. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to skip ahead to when I start actually talking. But I'm going to prop you up here. Let me know how y'all are doing in the chat, or give me some hearts to know how you're feeling. And we'll get started a little after 3. Thanks, inclusive data. Oh, thanks. You want to know about my art? I can tell you actually that, hi RJ Dynamite, welcome. Whoa, I can't point backwards very well. This one at the bottom, let me see if I can just turn it around and show you. Okay. This piece of art is by Dignidad Rebelde. You can follow them on IG. They're super awesome duo of artists. These two up here as well, the Tierra Indígena and the Audre Lorde one are both by them as well. And this one in the middle is Jade Purple Brown. Yeah, really good, right? Hi, but I'm not a critic though. Welcome. We're going to get started in a little bit. I'm going to share some LinkedIn optimization tips and talk about the census, but there were some questions about the art behind me, so I'm doing a little tour of my office. The bottom one, this one, and these two up here are by Dignidad Rebelde art kind of duo, and this is Jade Purple Brown. These also over here, which I rarely, thanks for the hearts. Hi. Hi Solid Gold. These two are, this Jade Purple Brown one is fire. Really, she's an amazing artist. So these are Ricardo Levins Morales. That's the URL there. And also they're on, Instagram too. But I mean, this is a great Paulo Freire coat, for all times, especially now. Hey, Nicole, I'm going to be talking about you in a second. Sorry I didn't tell you. Okay, and this one is one of my favorite quotes too, really pertinent for these times. It says, "Power comes from below, from the hidden places where it gathers until discovering itself. It blazes into view the landscape." It blazes into view, lighting the sky and reshaping the landscape, sweeping away barriers it seemed would stand forever. Yeah, I love that one. It's called Volcano. It's a pretty descriptive thing. Anyways, hi. Hello, Wilson. So we're going to get started in a little bit. Give people time to trickle in, but feel free to let me know how you're feeling with an emoji or some hearts or whatnot. You're welcome, inclusive data. I love talking about this stuff behind me and try to make it look good for clients and people I video chat with and stuff, and for lives obviously. Anyone who's just joining us, we will be talking about my top 3 tips to optimize your LinkedIn, as well as the census. So I'm just gonna chill out here. Feel free to hang around, and we're going to wait for some more people to join and let's get started a little around 3. If you're watching the replay, skip ahead. If you have any questions that you want to talk about, or I don't know, ask me in the meantime, I'm also welcoming those. Hi, Pages and Pathways. We're going to get started in a little bit, so just hang out and we'll we'll get going in a few. Thanks for the hearts, whoever that was. If you all have questions, by the way, about anything, feel free to put them in the question box at any point. I'm going to do questions on the LinkedIn stuff at the very end. Oh, and if anyone wants to intro themselves in the chat, feel free to do that. I love when people connect and we can all kind of cross-pollinate and support each other's work. So feel free to do that, and or drop any questions you might have about LinkedIn or the census in the question box. By the way, I'll let you all know, since you all are here early, this is part of the hashtag 10 minutes count challenge that I'm doing in collaboration with A Better New York and NY Counts 2020, for reasons you'll find out later. So thank you all for joining, and afterwards this should be an IGTV, so feel free to share that with anyone who wasn't able to make it live so we can spread the info. Okay, hi Zealands. I think we're gonna get started now. It's a little after 3. So I'll introduce myself for anybody who doesn't already know me. My name's Cynthia Pong. I'm a feminist career strategist and I specialize in working with women of color. Okay, so this is, hey Rachna, one of the women of color I super love. Hey Natalie crew, another one, ditto. Thank you all for joining. This is a little bit of a different live than the ones I've usually done, which have been like conversations with people I admire and am inspired by. This one, I'm going to be talking first. I'm going to be teaching you, hey Natalie, everybody follow each other. You all are just so awesome. I love this brain trust that's already happening in the chat. First, I'm going to be telling you my top 3 LinkedIn optimization tips. I'll be teaching it to you in under 10 minutes, and you'll realize why that's important in a second, which is because the second part of this, I will be talking about the census, which is something else you can do in under 10 minutes, and it's super easy. So let's get into it. Thanks, Zealands. Wow. If you all want to tell me how you're feeling in the chat, you can drop an emoji, give me some hearts if you want, so I know how you're feeling. And any questions can go in the question box. Hi, Nikita. Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, party time. Any questions can go in the chat and I'll answer them at the very end, especially ones like about LinkedIn and stuff. Okay, so my let me set this thing up, and hopefully I don't hang up this live by accident because, oh no. Hey, it's Nicole. Okay, I didn't tell Nicole this earlier because, not gonna lie, I just put this shit together super last minute. Yes, there's Nicole Espina, who's also here with us in the chat. This is her IG. You should all follow. Nicole's stories especially are so good. Okay, my first tip, all right, for you, and I'm gonna try to do this in under 10 minutes, okay? It's 3:06. So my first tip is for you to choose a banner photo on your LinkedIn profile. That kind of old, stodgy, blue-looking thing with the random blue dots and like the strange ombre that's super dated looking, don't default to that, okay? Like, this is the first thing that people see when they go to your profile, and this needs to be good. So you have a couple options of like what you could choose for your banner photo. And before I dive into that, it should go without saying that your headshot photo should be a high-res, high-quality headshot and well-lit and everything like Nicole's. Okay, a couple options for what you could do for a banner photo, because a lot of my clients and stuff get hung up on that. They don't really know what to choose. It can be a little hard, but you could choose a photo that's meaningful to you, that you took, or that has ties to your professional work. So Nicole, being a photographer, this being one of her photos and going along with that black and white aesthetic, and Nicole's super into like light in photography and stuff, like this makes a ton of sense, right? So follow Nicole over here. Another example, if you are, someone who runs your own business, you want to raise your profile as a speaker, you could choose a photo like Michelle's that has a picture of Michelle like in front of a crowd of people speaking, right? Makes a lot of sense. You could also, like Nakia, who is here, one of my favorite people, you could have a quote that you believe in. Like, this is Madiba's quote: "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world," over another photo. Here's another example of a quote, Dr. Maya Angelou: "If you're going to live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that can't be erased." Okay, so you can make one of these things in something like Canva. This is like one of my old banner photos, actually. It used to be this. So it was a photo of me giving a presentation, and I just put over there the words and this purple because that's my brand colors. And that used to be my banner. Then I became a top voice, so obviously, I had to put that on here. So this is currently my banner. Hey, Bonnie. Everybody follow Bonnie. They're super awesome. Thought leader who writes a lot about travel, decolonization, and so on. Also, thanks, Sin NYA, for joining, and MLL Art. We're just talking about my first tip for you all for your LinkedIn, which is to make a really good banner photo for your profile. Okay, next tip is to make sure that your byline, which is this thing that happens like under your, I'll show you on Jody Ann's. It's this thing right here. Your kind of description. Make sure that is really good, up to date, and catchy. So when you comment on other people's stuff on LinkedIn, which is yay to Bonnie. Anyway, when you comment on LinkedIn, which is something you should be doing because, oh yeah, but I'm not a critic though. I will definitely get to that question at the end. Please remind me if I forget, because sometimes I, lose track. Okay, when you're commenting and interacting on people's posts, like Maya's here, Maya's also super awesome. You're only a snippet of your byline is going to show up. Hopefully you all can see this. So mine starts with feminist career strategist for women of color, vertical line, LinkedIn top voice, vertical line, and it continues. You can see my full one is over here. So here's the thing with that. LinkedIn just made it so that you can put a lot more characters in here, but I'm kind of like gonna say do as I say, not as I do. I think shorter and pithier is better. It's like a cleaner look, like Jody Ann's here, Nicole's here. It's just very clean. But one reason that I put all this crap in mine is because of keywords. So I want to be easily searchable. I want people to know I'm a speaker, that I have a book coming out. Don't Stay in Your Lane, the career change guide for women of color, by the way. You'll be hearing a lot more about that. So I want those things to be up in here. And you can best bet everybody right now is searching DEI. So if you do anything related to DEI work, that needs to be in your byline. So I told you this thing about the snippet just so that you're aware, like only the first chunk is going to appear here. So just test it out and make sure it looks good to you. Keywords I talked about. Here's an example of a couple examples of good bylines. This one's Amarachi. Excellent byline here. Super clean, describes the work, and also this combination of like excellent banner photo and like high res headshot. I mean, this is just beautiful. Could look at this all day. And again, the reason I'm focusing so much on what's at the top of this is because that's what people see first. And that's going to determine whether they scroll down and read anything else. All right. So Amarachi is the first example of a really good, tight byline. You can follow on Instagram _Amarachi. Janine Harper as well. I love this one. Data science evangelist, certified scrum master. It's descriptive, to the point, you know, keyword friendly over here with this certified scrum master. Last example for a really good byline, seeking recruiting roles. This is Zarina's, and Zarina is on Instagram too. You can follow over here. Seeking recruiting roles, creative dot connector, and DEI advocate. So I just said why it's important to have these keywords, because Zarina is going to show up when people pop DEI in this search engine within LinkedIn. So that's super smart. Also, I wanted to say, like, a lot of people are looking for work these days, and I think it's totally acceptable. This is my professional career strategist opinion here, to put that you are actively looking for roles on LinkedIn, because people want to know, all right? And then they'll know to engage with you. One pro tip that I'm going to pop in just as a bonus is that there is now this option. Zarina has already done it, but there's an option at the top of your profile to say what kind of work you're looking for. If you go into your profile and you hit the edit pencil button, you'll get this option. Mine is different. Where's my profile? Here. Okay, so you can see this is how it will look on the back end. If you hit this, you'll see these two options here. It's like you could say you're providing services and like describe what they are. Or you could say you're open to XYZ type of work. So if you're looking for jobs, fill this part out, and then it's going to look like Zarina's here. If you're someone like me, own business owner, entrepreneur, hi, Kareem Mandela, thank you for joining. Then you want to put what services you provide here, because that's going to pop up right at the top. And it's a new function. So that's my extra pro tip. My third tip for optimizing your LinkedIn, we've now talked about the banner photo and the byline. The third one is to get 500 plus connections. So again, this is one of those things people see like right as soon as they look at your profile, right? They'll see this 500 plus, and LinkedIn doesn't specify if you're at 501 versus 1,000 versus 10,000 versus whatever. It's just 500 is somehow the threshold. So you just want to get over 500 so that it, you know, looks good, because a lot of people are just over 500. The way I did it, and I did it in like a couple of weeks, really, it was pretty easy. Hi, Sabrina. Is I just mass connected with people. And this may not be the best advice that you want to hear. A lot of people that I work with, especially, they're like, oh, I don't want to connect with anyone I don't actually know. I'm going to push you on that and just say, listen, on the people tab right here, there's going to be a lot of people listed that have some sort of overlap with you, like whether it's your geography, if you're in New York City, or your past schooling, or like other stuff. Like the algorithm is going to suggest people for you. Just mass connect with people until you get over 500. That is my totally keeping it real advice. Okay. And it's actually 3:15, and I said I would teach you this in under 10 minutes. So I actually did it in 9 minutes. And I hope you enjoyed those LinkedIn tips. I'm going to circle back to, but I'm not a critic, those question later. But first, I want to talk about part 2 of this live, which is about the census. So just as I taught you those tips Thanks, Natalie, for all the fire emojis. Just as I taught you those 3 LinkedIn optimization tips in under 10 minutes, you can also do this in under 10 minutes. Fill out your census. It's super fun. Honestly, I friggin' loved filling it out, and I was a little sad when it was over so fast because I love forums and surveys and personality quizzes and all that type of shit. So I really enjoyed it. So any other nerds like that, like me, you will love it. Yes, but I'm not a critic though. I'm coming back to you. So if you all here have filled out the census already, give me like an emoji in the chat or like some hearts or something so I know if you've done it yet. The reason the census is so crucial, right, is because it impacts where billions of dollars of federal funding goes. And if we are undercounted, that means we're underfunded. And we all know the dollar is the only thing that most people listen to. Right now, this is who's filled out the census across the country, all right? The darker colors, I don't know if you can see this super well, the darker blue is 85% or more. Right? Lighter blue all the way to this pale blue is like 50% of people. And then red, orange, yellow, orange, red, and white, not good, right? That's 40 down to 0%, like no data. So this is the country right now. You can see Minneapolis and Wisconsin are doing really well. New York is over here in the lighter range of blue. And if you zoom in, this is New York City. So we're not doing well at all. Also, sadly, over here in Newark, New Jersey, we're like basically surrounded by dark blue, high response rates in the 70s and 80%, but we ourselves are in like the 40% at best. These kind of lighter yellow colors, the darker the orange goes, the worse it is. Like over here, it's like in this part of Brooklyn is 15% or less of people have filled out the census, and sort of over here too, like under the park here. So this is really not good. We need the funds. I'm really glad that, but I'm not a critic, though, state isn't completely bad. But New York City is not doing well. So we need everybody. Yeah, I know, Rachna, it's not good. Tell all your friends. I'm going to get into the action steps like at the end, but we need to fill out the census. We need to do it now because this is what determines whether we get money for hospitals, schools, roads, social services, jobs, like all of this stuff. And it determines how many people we get, how many representatives we get in the House of Representatives in Congress. So the shit is fucking important, and we're just getting really steamrolled, I'm going to say, because of COVID and institutional racism, which has had a major flare-up recently. And I know people are doing things related to the uprising and all that important stuff. What is also important is filling out the census. And it takes, again, less than 10 minutes. All you got to do is go to my 2020 census. Oh, you can't see this, sorry. my2020census.gov, right up here. Super easy, my2020census.gov, and start questionnaire and just fill it out. I can't show you because I already did mine. Another option, though, is you can call this number. You could call 844-467-2020, and you can fill it out in 13 different languages if you don't want to do it online, or if somebody doesn't want to do it online. Also, of course, there's the paper form that we all should have gotten in the mail that is still an option. One per household is all we need. So, like, if you all have already filled out your census, if not, obviously, go to my2020census.gov right now, my2020census.gov. I won't be offended if you literally leave this live or this IGTV right now to do it, my2020census.gov. Fill out your census, and if you already have done it, here's 3 things that you could do to spread the word so that our stats don't remain looking this poor. 1, tell your neighbors. All right, post about it in your building. There's a lot of mutual aid stuff going on. Tap into those networks. Post a flyer. Post them on your block. A couple weekends ago, like right after the murder lynching of George Floyd, my partner and I, like, we just posted a couple flyers about, like, let's gather this evening a few hours in advance, and all these neighbors came out. So post something about filling out the census right now. Number 2, tell your networks. Post about it on social. Here's some hashtags. Hashtag 2020 census. Hashtag GetCountedNYC. Again, that's hashtag 2020 census and hashtag GetCountedNYC. You can also follow at NYCounts2020 and at ABNY Census 2020. That's for a better New York, ABNY Census 2020. And they'll have lots more info about what you can do, but tell your networks on social in addition to telling your neighbors on the block. Thirdly, help people who might need tech support. Like if they don't have access to a computer and they really want to do it online, or if they need help navigating the phone system, that's the number again is 844-467-2020. 844-467-2020. I feel like I'm on one of those like old school PBS like donate-a-thon things. It's like just call, blah blah blah. Anyway, help other people fill out the census is what I'm trying to say. It's so easy. You will just be shocked how easy it is. Rachna says, I wonder if the fear of ICE or collection agency or others stopping New York City residents could very well be. And, if that's the case, talk to your neighbors. Like, help dispel and demystify this a little bit. This shit is confidential. It stays confidential for 72 years. I don't even know if I'm going to live that long, so tell people it's super safe. It comes in 13 different languages. It's hyper confidential. That's not really a thing, but you know what I mean. So share with people how easy it is and how safe it is. And it's just one per household, So lastly, before I get to the LinkedIn questions, I'm going to say, if you have any questions or you're wondering anything about the census, definitely follow and message at NYCounts2020 on Instagram or at ABNY Census 2020, and they'll get back to you. My friend Alia is probably one of the people who is managing that back end, and they'll be happy to help you. So I'm going to go back. Now's the time if you have any questions about LinkedIn or the census to drop it in the question box. I'm scrolling back but I'm not a critic, those question. Okay. What's the best approach? Let me go back to a LinkedIn page here. Okay. What's the best approach for someone who does professional and creative work? So good. A lot of people who do creative work think that LinkedIn is like a waste of time. I see where you're coming from. Like, I really do. At the same time, I think that LinkedIn is really underutilized by creative people, so that means less competition. If you get good at using LinkedIn, you can find clients. I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm going to go to my friend Nana's page and see if I can use it as an example. Badoo Basics. Oops, why did I backspace that? Badoo Basics on Instagram. But yeah, look at how good this is. Oh my God. Nana, my friend and my stylist, look at this photo of her. I mean, just so good. Stylist and image consultant, founder and CEO at Badoo Basics. And she's doing all the things that I said, like tight byline, awesome banner photo, 500 plus connections. So this is good to know because, this is a good example because Nana does creative work. Like, she's a stylist. She also does work with people who are professionals. Like, they're part of her customer client base. And being on here, I think the most important thing, but I'm not a critic though, to remember is like, you need to be active. So this shows what, I really hope Nana doesn't care that I'm like creeping on her thing, but, this shows like what activity Nana has been doing. So liked this comment, liked this other post, probably like commented on celebrated this, like when you are active on here, people notice. They might not necessarily notice the first time around, but like, especially if you leave comments, and I'll go to mine as an example to show you. So here's my activity. Okay, so like you can see, I just commented on something over here. Like literally all I did, right, was read this post. I was like, yes, I'm bored with that. I hit the celebrate emoji, and then I copied like this last line here, which I totally agree with, popped it into a comment, and put enough said. So like doing this, why it's important is that people will see you showing up in their notifications feed. And if they see you showing up like again and again, here's my colleague Jasmine Escalera, she's super cool too. They start to think of you and you're top of mind, and that's basically like free marketing. So the best approach, I would say, after you make sure, but I'm not a critic though, that your profile is like, optimized and stuff, interact. Follow hashtags. Also, can I show you this? I'll show you what hashtags I follow. Over here, I follow hashtag women of color, hashtag transform her. Oh, they're down here. Sorry, my bad. Hashtag LinkedIn top voices, whatever. Like, just follow some hashtags, go onto these feeds. If you click it, then it shows you all the stuff that's hashtagged that. This is weirdly a very small hashtag, but I use it on everything. My colleague Lisa is on here. Lisa just came out with a book with her partner, Own Your Greatness. You see this? Own Your Greatness. It's a book on imposter syndrome. So I'm not good at the camera work. Thanks for bearing with me on that. So yeah, if you're like interested in this, I would follow this hashtag, go right down, just like and comment on a bunch of stuff, and you'll be on people's notification feeds. Okay, let's see. Rachna says, do people need the number mailed to them to access the census? No, honestly, everyone should have gotten the census mailed to them already. But this phone number that I shared with you all up here, this 844-467-2020, that's just if you prefer to fill it out like over the phone as opposed to doing it online at my2020census.gov or by filling out the paper form. Racha, last time I engaged with LinkedIn was 2012. It seems less stodgy and formal compared to back then. Agreed, but it's still pretty stodgy and formal. What is appropriate to post if it isn't directly related to my work? Digital strike signs. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it's your personal preference. It's kind of like having an account on IG that is personal and professional, or like professional but it's you, that's the business, like it's your comfort level with what you feel comfortable posting. Like I don't care. I will post whatever I want, and sometimes that gets some trolls and stuff, but that's just gonna happen. So I'll show you my most recent posts. This is a sharing, like, my own freebie type of thing, my YouTube channel. But this is like a PSA that I shared literally from Instagram to tell people, because I started noticing, like, people are posting about Black Lives Matter and other related things on here, and they're not capitalizing the B in Black. So I got really pissed last Friday, and I just impromptu posted this. So I have a couple, like, just anger posts on here, it's just a mix. This also was super popular. Like, look, this post got over 10K views, and over 100 likes, over 27 comments. And this was me being like, follow these people who are like my friends or clients or colleagues who are women of color, and they're like thought leaders, and people should be hiring them for their virtual and in the future in-person events as speakers. So I just like tagged a whole bunch of them, and this is the third installment. I linked to the first two installments here. But like, that's another thing, boosting other people. People love that shit on Instagram, on LinkedIn, as well as on Instagram. So yeah, like, doing better, except for Black women. What is up with that? So I just like wrote a caption, put some hashtags on it, and then posted it, so that's another easy one. You can always share other people's stuff too. Like, if you hit the share button, But I have found, I think this is something with the LinkedIn algorithm, I've found that they don't circulate those as much. It helps the person who posted it because then they can go quote unquote viral and be trending in a hashtag if like 3 to 5 people share it, but it doesn't do so well for you as the sharer. So that's a heads up on that. But I'm not a critic though says, gotcha, I'm not very active on LinkedIn, but planning on being more active. Yeah, totally. And you know, if you have more questions, ask me anytime. Yeah, made mine in college before I graduated. It's not nearly as interactive or helpful. No problem. You have a starting point. Like, at least there is something there for you to work on. It's easier than starting from scratch, you know? Census. Is the deadline on the mailed info a deadline for the code? I remember my census mailing saying due by April 1st. Okay, so low-key, I think the deadline is like much later on. But the fact that we're doing so poorly in over here is just not good, because it really just means like other people are already ahead. It's like any kind of race, right? Like they're already ahead. They're going to just like keep doing better and better, like Minnesota and Wisconsin. And we're just like going to keep lagging. So I guess like the deadline is ASAP, which is not super helpful. But the truth is there's more time to fill it out. You definitely can still fill it out. Tell your neighbors and tell your people and tell your networks. You can still fill it out. It takes less than 10 minutes. So easy. And let's just boost our numbers a little, because this is just demoralizingly bad. For anyone who missed earlier, this is like the key to reading this map. Where New York City is basically all under 50% response rate, whereas a lot of people around us, Long Island, upstate, Westchester, other parts of New Jersey are 85% or more. Such good advice. Thank you. Thanks, Sin NYA. I'm so glad you could join us. And yeah, so we're about at the 30-minute mark, and I'm probably going to hop off in a second unless there's any other questions. Thanks, Kalila, for hopping in. If you have questions about the census, or if you have any final questions about LinkedIn, listen, you all, I'm going to keep it real with you like I always do. I had less than 500 followers when I first started my business. In 2016, 2015, around there. I'm bad with dates. But I just mass followed people and got my connections up to, first over 500 and then over like 1K. Nicole says, thank you for the reminder to do the census, how important it is. Thank you. Also, thanks for having such a great LinkedIn profile that I could use as an example. Everyone follow Nicole on Instagram over here. Nicole Espina. Her stories are fire. Anyway, so I mass connected with people, got over like 1K, kept aggressively connecting with people I thought were cool, you know, like people who did DEI work, other women of color, other BIPOC people. And then I got up to like 6K something followers, and from the content, I guess I was doing really well in the algorithms, and that's how it became a top voice. Like, exactly how it happened that I became a top voice. And then after that, my following blew up from 6 point something K to, I don't know, like 30 something K, 50 something K, 70 something K. And now it's like over 200K. Like I can't even fathom this number. It's ridiculous. But like, if I can do it, you can do it too. It just was like discipline in posting things 3 times a week, like looking at what people enjoyed, adjusting my content appropriately. Now I have way more leeway with what I post, and I can post things that are a little more militant and are how I actually feel, because I'm not worried about like the following and stuff anymore. So you'll get there, you know. Thanks, Rachna, for the claps. So anyone else who wants to talk to me about LinkedIn stuff, feel free to DM me anytime. Thank you all for watching. Please fill out the census. Tell all your people to fill out the census. And this will be posted on IGTV afterwards for anybody who wants to watch the replay. Let me say bye to you all. Thank you so much for joining. Love to you all. Please stay safe, and I'll see you out in the streets. Bye.